Takes Ritter to the end zone, looking for Pierce. Did he hang on? Yes. Touchdown. Beaten back as I've been around. Here he goes again. Busts free. Jerome Ford down the sideline. Foot race. House call. Touchdown. 79 yards. Big run in the Peach Bowl. This is a big one too. And it's going to go all the way to the house on the first play from scrimmage.
Bearcat Blitz. Welcome, everybody, to our final weekend without Cincinnati Bearcats athletics on the football or basketball side for a long time. The long off season is nearly over, everybody, and we can't wait to bring you all the action. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook on the Believe Network. I'm your host, Russ Heltman. He's my co-host, Neil Meyer. We'll bring Neil in just a few moments. But first, I got to tell you all about FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook, where you can currently take advantage of a 50% profit boost on any college football bet, courtesy of the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. They're boosting with the boys this week, and you can also refer a friend and get $50 in bonus bets as well when you send out your referral code. In terms of the Bearcats side of things on the betting ledger, Cincinnati still a 6.5 point favorite, or 6.5 point underdog, to the Nebraska Cornhuskers, -105 on the odds line there. They're +202 on the money line to win the game next Thursday night at 9 p.m. And the over-under is sitting at 53.5 points for anybody who wants to place a wager on the Nebraska-Cincinnati contest next Thursday, exactly 1 week away as we record this show. Getting into a lot of fun topics today, but unfortunately a not so fun one to start. The sad, unfortunate story of Gizzel James being removed from the Cincinnati Bearcats basketball program has been confirmed. We were wondering what was going on with Jizzle earlier in the week with our opening show of the week, I should say. And then Wes Miller confirmed in a statement a few hours after we recorded, actually, that Jizzle James is no longer a member of the Bearcats basketball program. And then in the back half of the show, final 6-game predictions for the Cincinnati Bearcats football team. Neil has them starting 5-1. I got them starting 4-2. You can check out our picks for each of the first 6 games on the earlier part of the week show. And we are going to close it out with the back half of the schedule right here on Bearcat Blitz. We're presented by FanDuel Sportsbook, and we'll be coming at you right after these short messages. Neil Meyer, I should say. Got my tongue tied up right there. Bring him in now from the frontofficenews.com. You can check out his work there. You can check out my work at Cincinnati Bearcats on SI, where we have coverage of an unfortunate situation surrounding the Cincinnati Bearcats basketball team. Jizzle James, no longer a member of the program as he deals with, quote, personal issues, according to Wes Miller. We'll give you the quote right now, the statement from Wes Miller. Jizzle James, this is the statement from Wes, all his words, has been dealing with personal issues throughout the summer. We removed him from the team last month. He is currently not a member of our basketball program. As this is a personal matter, I will have no further comments at this time. And to kind of set the stage for everybody, Jizzle was a part of the summer program to start, was there for a majority of the weeks in the summer with the program, and then was curiously not really featured in much of the publicly released media posts from the Cincinnati Bearcats basketball side of things. Didn't see him at a lot of the team building events. And then it pops up a couple of weeks into July that he was down at John Lucas Enterprises in the southern part of the United States, getting who knows? There's no confirmation of what exactly he was doing there. We can only kind of infer what was happening at the John Lucas Enterprises, which John Lucas does on athlete aftercare as one of the facets of his program. And the aftercare program of counselors is primarily in cities with NBA and NFL teams, created to provide services to professional athletes: assessment, testing, counseling, inpatient care, rehabilitation, AA meetings, rigorous development plans, developmental treatment programs. And Jizzle James was there in the program up until it seems, Neil, about a couple weeks ago when the social media posts started coming back out. It was very quiet from Jizzle James after the kind of weird I'm going to the NBA Instagram posts that happened in the earlier part of the summer. And then we get to more head scratching Instagram posts and stuff of that nature later on in the summer. And that takes us to just this week and earlier this week when Jizzle James publicly called out a member of the Cincinnati Bearcats basketball team, Sincere Harris, attacked him with multiple slurs on Instagram. And you could see what exactly he said on Cincinnati Bearcats on SI on the basketball tab. I'm not going to repeat it on the show, but yeah, it's not great. And it wasn't him just attacking Sincere. It was him basically calling out the entire team with a slur. And it's just reached the point, Neil, where it had to be addressed. Someone from the program had to come out and make a statement on what is going on. And it's kind of crazy that it stayed under wraps publicly for this long, that Gizzel James has not been a member of the program dating back to a month ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you look back at what this last month or month and a half might have been like surrounding this situation. I know when the first social media posts started coming out like a while back, about a month ago, I know we had a lot of people reaching out to us at TFON asking what was going on. We stood tall. We didn't really give much information, but to put the time frame on it, I mean, he was here in Cincinnati for, like Russ mentioned, arguably the first 6-7 weeks of fall camp or summer camp there for practices and whatnot. And then that's when things kind of went quietly. And he went and sounds like he went to the John Lucas facility, and that's where all the social media posts stopped.
Yeah.
And then about 10 to 12 days later, per se, after arriving down there is what it seems like. That's when you saw the social media and the crash outs start to kind of come back to the air in the public eye, right? And anytime a situation is going on like this, teams and programs, coaches, players, they really don't typically handle the situation in this matter where they take it to the public eye, right? They usually try to handle situations behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But
and it felt like Jizzle kind of sparked that.
Yeah.
He made
correct.
them have to address the situation.
They kind of made Jizzle kind of made the situation much worse in a way by taking this to social media, and everybody nowadays uses social media. I mean, you and I use it for our jobs, but just about every person in society uses social media. So once he took it to social media, it was you kind of knew something was going on. And then you see the pictures surface of him down at John Lucas. Don't know what the whole game plan was.
Yeah, we're not privy to what he was there for exactly.
Or what he was there for exactly.
And what exactly he was rehabilitating, whether it was substance abuse, alcohol, nobody knows. No, people know, but no reports have come out on that.
Yes.
At this point.
And even then, that is a personal matter, so you keep that kind of to yourself in that aspect. But it's a scary situation, right? You have a young man who is clearly going through something, and you want to be there as much as possible to hope he gets the help he needs, most importantly, but you want to be there with him throughout whatever he might be dealing with, like we mentioned on the earlier show this week. Whatever he's dealing with, it's clearly something pretty big and has a substantial hold on his future and what might be going on. So you just pray and you fight that you wish that he can continue to fight this battle, whatever it is he's going through, and he gets the help he needs. But you hate to see this kind of situation transpire, knowing how much potential Jizzle had. I mean, he was a Big 12 all honorable mention last season, averaged 12 points a game, was set to have a big role for Cincinnati, and now with things transpiring, how this has played out, leading to Wes Miller's statement. And I mean, you knew the statement was going to come regarding, especially after the social media post. I mean, it was bound to happen with school starting. You knew you were going to hear something on that aspect. You heard all the rumors and whatnot, but it was just a matter of time to get a statement to kind of get a full understanding of what's actually going on. But it's not a good look. It's not a good look, unfortunately. And you never know what he's dealing with, but all you can do is just pray that he gets the help that he needs and continue to support him throughout this hard time. I know a lot of people on social media are giving their opinions, and I personally, I'm not a fan of it.
No.
So I think you just keep your opinions to
If
yourself
you
and you
don't know
just
what's
pray.
going on, keep your mouth shut. That's what I
Yeah,
got to
you
say
pray
about it.
he gets the help that he needs, and in the end, this is a human being, and you treat everybody with love, kind, and respect, and that's all you can do in this situation. Continue to kind of be there and support from afar, and hope he gets the help he needs, and hope things turn around for him.
Couldn't have said it better myself than Neil did right there. It's obviously a scary situation. You want him just to get back to the Jizzle that people know. And I saw Bearcat Journal's Chad Brendel post that on their YouTube page, on Bearcat Journal's YouTube page, on one of their nightcaps. He said somebody told him that Jizzle is, quote, sick. He's sick right now. And it's just a sad situation. That's all you can say about it. It's just really sad. You really hope that he can turn this around. And as Wes Miller mentioned, not part of the team right now. He did not say in that message that he was going to be permanently kicked off of the team. He said, quote, we removed him from the team last month. He is currently not a member of our basketball program. Maybe that leaves the door open for a return down the line. We shall see. I wouldn't necessarily hold out major hope for that, but it's not necessarily the end of the line for Gizzel James at Cincinnati. Hopefully it's not the end of the line for his basketball career. And hopefully, especially as a new father as well, it's just that aspect of it. Also, you just hope he can get to not being quote unquote sick anymore as quickly as possible. Just all thoughts go out to Jizzle James, and hopefully he can
And it's too,
find some stable ground here soon.
and it's worth noting too, when people look back on this situation, Russ, you and I have had the pleasure, the joy, a great opportunity to be around and cover Jizzle James for
Seems like a really nice guy. Like,
very, very nice
yeah,
guy, very
yeah.
quiet, soft spoken, very polite when we've had the chance to interview him. We have never had any issues
And there
with
before
Jizzle
this
James.
summer, there was never any inkling
There
that
was
he was a
never,
locker room issue at all.
never any issues that there was a locker room problem for Jizzle James. So
It was
we've
like Neil. He was touted as the hardest working player in the program at a lot of times during the last couple of years.
and you and I both have been around the program for years on end. And I mean, for Gizzel James's 2 years here, I mean, he consistently lived in Fifth Third
Yeah,
Arena, whether that was in the practice gyms or the actual arena, getting extra work in. I know he had a trainer that he was coming in before games and whatnot, getting extra work in throughout times as well. So he was putting in relentless effort to get to where he was at in the basketball stage. It's just something, it's just a sad situation all the way around. And it just shows that no matter how hard you work, everything can kind of be taken away by one bad decision or whatever it might be that puts you in that position, right? So you never know what he's going through, but you hate to see it. And all, like we said, all you can do is sit back and pray. But from our interactions with him, he has been fantastic throughout the 2 years. I know we had great interactions with him after games plenty of times throughout media availabilities. He's always been kind, funny. He's even shared some good personal moments.
yeah,
So overall, he was never a locker room issue before this situation took place. So in the end, like we said, at this point, you just sit back and you hope that he gets the help he needs.
exactly. Echo everything that Neil said right there. And looking at the roster as we kind of pick up the pieces from the Jizzle James exit, Neil, looking at their point guard situation, a lot relying on Kirk Crease's health now. A lot. It feels like the stability, the depth of that position relies on Kirk Crease being able to get back to his normal self and be able to play 25 to 28 of the games this season because they're a little thin now at that guard position, especially the lead ball handler position. But you might not be so thin if Kirk Kriesa can be able to stabilize that spot and be a good starting force, maybe mixing in starts with Day Thomas, and then Keyshawn Tillery as well. Is he ready to go? If he is ready to roll and ready to take on considerable backup point guard minutes, then I don't know that they're going to feel the impact of Jizzle James' exit as much as people might think you would feel the loss of your leading scorer and leading assist man from a year ago.
Yeah, and like you mentioned too, I mean, the point guard position was arguably Cincinnati's deepest position,
It's true.
right?
Yeah.
You look down, you have a 3-year point guard in Gizzel James. You have a veteran point guard in Day Thomas. You have a veteran point guard in Kirk Carissa, and then you have the young bull in Keyshawn Tillery. And people might be kind of overlooking the expectations for a guy like Keyshawn Tillery, but it's safe to say he has flashed throughout summer workouts. You have heard his name pop up. Wes Miller even mentioned and praised him and Sean Abaya's work ethic since they arrived, and how they're not really freshmen, right? They're coming in ready to work. They're not taking anything for granted, but Keyshawn Tillery's minutes just got more important for this upcoming season. And despite being a freshman, he just earned himself a couple more minutes, and probably some impactful ones, especially come Big 12 play, depending what the rotation might look out. But then again, you have your veteran leader. I mean, things just got a lot heavier for Day Thomas too. And people might not realize that, but Day Thomas, everyone kind of forgets about him at times, right? I mean, last season you knew
He's
what
the
you were getting.
he's the lifeblood connection of this program right now.
Mhm.
He is the only Neil. He is the only
Only returner.
returning player that played significant minutes for the Bearcats last season. That's where we're at in this day and age of college basketball.
Yeah, and
Calvin
people.
Zealot played as well, but I wouldn't say they were significant
And
minutes.
then you have Tyler McKinley returning from the injury as well. But overall, Day Thomas is going to be arguably probably one of your captains this season. And I mean, we've seen him take that jump from years past, but Day Thomas just became a fan favorite, right? I mean, he's been a fan favorite since he arrived on campus, but now he has an opportunity to kind of cement his legacy at
He's
Cincinnati.
kind of the fan known. He's the only
Yeah.
fan commodity kind of
Yeah,
for the fans that are in the
I
city.
mean, people realize Day Thomas and remember him for his gritty, tough, physical, defensive play style, right? We know he's not scared to get physical. We know he's not scared to play with a little bit of blood on his jerseys, blood on his teeth. We've seen it all in the past. But Day Thomas could take that next step and become the scorer like we saw him do at times last season and the year before. I mean, at Russ, I believe there was a game where he went 3 straight games in his career at Cincinnati with 18 plus. Could that
Yeah.
be something that he steps into and Wes Miller asks him to score the ball a little bit more? Who knows? But it's going to be interesting to see how does Day Thomas respond and take that leadership role with everything going on between the guys of himself, Kirk Carissa, Keyshawn Tillery. The list goes on because Cincinnati has so much of veteran presence on this new revamped roster. But I think Day Thomas is going to be the spearhead and make this team go, especially at that point guard position.
Deep position just got a little less deep, but I think Neil and I are in agreement. They're still pretty much okay there, and the expectation remains the same.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the NCAA tournament. And speaking getting to the NCAA tournament, a couple of games that could help that resume into the NCAA tournament, especially in the non-conference portion, Neil. We have news there, kind of breaking as we talk right about now. John Rothstein noted Clemson has released their non-conference schedule, and Cincinnati is on the docket December 21st against Cincinnati. They will play in Greenville, South Carolina, on the road at Clemson. Neil, I like this one a lot for the Cincinnati Bearcats.
And then you have
And
Louisville November 21st as well. That's officially
right.
time stamped and
Yeah,
locked and
Louisville
loaded.
coming to town on November 21st, BYU the next day. So that's a really exciting weekend for Bearcats fans. And then not an actual road game for the Bearcats against Clemson, playing it in Greenville, interestingly. So a little bit more of a neutral site, but obviously in Clemson country. Victor Locken was with the Clemson Tigers. Does he still have eligibility? I don't even know. This
No,
is all
he is
happening. I think
pursuing pro opportunities, and
yeah.
then
So they're not going to face Victor Locken, but Clemson,
and
a
you know
perennial NCAA tournament team, and probably
there's so
at least
many.
a quad two matchup for sure.
Yeah, it will definitely be a quad two opportunity. And I mean, you look down, it's no surprise that Cincinnati and Clemson are playing each other, right? Wes Miller's from that kind of
That
area,
region,
North
yeah.
Carolina, South Carolina. He's very familiar with those coaches down there. You're good to see the ACC powerhouse get in there. Clemson has been a very good program for the last few years, but it's good to get that opportunity, right? And there's so many connections between Cincinnati, Clemson. John Newman starred at Clemson for a few years. Victor Locken goes to Clemson. So there's still so many Cincinnati ties, despite those two guys not being part of those programs anymore. But Cincinnati has an opportunity to revamp their non-conference schedule like we saw a year ago. I mean, you have Louisville, you have Xavier, you have Clemson. That's
Dayton, Georgia Tech. I mean, they got 5, 6, almost
quad
half
one
of
or
their
quad two
non-conference
opportunities
matchups,
there.
Neil, are going to be at least quad two opportunities.
Yeah,
You'd think.
And in the new era of the NCAA tournament and Selection Sunday and your resume, if you don't have a non-conference schedule where you are featuring at least 4 to 5 of those opportunities, you're essentially cooked when it comes down to it, unless you win your conference. you're essentially cooked on making the Big 12 tournament if you are
Well,
above
you got to
team.
just you have to go 500 or better in the Big 12 really to have
Yeah,
a chance to get in. But if you don't have any marquee non-conference matchups or just one or two, you got to go
you're still
about
cooked.
60% or better in your
Yeah,
conference slate.
because I mean, we saw that in year one, right? Or we saw it multiple times. Cincinnati had a decent non-conference schedule where they had the two or the three quad one, quad two opportunities, and they end up going, I believe, 2-1 or 1-2 in them, and then they go 500 in Big 12. They still don't make the NCAA tournament. So overall, it's going to come down to your non-conference schedule. I mean, Pat Kelsey's building a juggernaut at Louisville. Anthony Grant's done a fantastic job at Dayton. It's going to be interesting to see what Richard Pitino puts on the floor versus Xavier. But on top of it, I expect Clemson to be a top 25 team to start, if not a top 30 team to start the season.
Taking a quick break here, but before we do, I want to tell you once again about FanDuel Sportsbook, the number one sports book, America's number one sports book, and you can get on there right now and take advantage of their college football 50% profit boost. That's a good perk right there. Boosting with the boys, the Bustin' with the Boys podcast, boosting that one up on FanDuel Sportsbook, and should be able to use it on the Bearcats to win the Big 12. You can boost that from 35 to 1, 33 to 1 right now on the odds market, all the way up to what? That would be like 48, almost 50 to 1 on the Bearcats to win the Big 12 if you would like to throw that 50% profit boost on Cincinnati. 33 to 1 right now to win the Big 12, only ahead of members like Arizona, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, and UCF. Taking a quick break here on Bearcat Blitz, then back with a final 6 games prediction mark for Neil Meyer and myself when it comes to Cincinnati Bearcats football 2025. All that after this, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Neil, you have the Bearcats starting 5-1 this season on the gridiron. I have them starting 4-2, and I'll go ahead and rattle off my final 6 game predictions for the 2025 season. Oklahoma State gets us going in the back half of the season. I got UC winning that game 31-20. I think Oklahoma State will be one of the poorer teams in the entire conference all season long. Then they welcome in Baylor after traveling to Oklahoma State. And I got the Baylor Bears as one of the pretty solid teams in this conference, pretty much handling Cincinnati pretty easily, 35-24. And then they go to Utah for a trip out west. This might be the toughest game on the entire schedule. And I got Utah winning this one 27-20 to bring Cincinnati to 4-3 on, 4-4 overall on the season. They welcome Arizona the next week, 42, or the next game, 42-24. I got UC whooping Arizona at home, putting it on a masterful offensive show to get their 5th win. BYU scrapes out that home matchup against the Cougars on November, was that 22nd? Yep. And they win that game 21-20 over UC. And then I got Cincinnati finishing strong and beating TCU this time around to close out the season 35-34 in what should be a really fun game. I'm projecting, and Cincinnati finishes 7-5 overall on the season. Neil, I got them going 4-3 down the stretch. How do you see the final 6 games playing out?
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, I mean, the kickoff the back half of the schedule, it's with the matchup versus Oklahoma State at Boone's Pickens Stadium. Obviously, Cincinnati got absolutely manhandled at Boone's Pickens the first time they played, but Oklahoma State is sitting at the bottom of the Big 12 right now, right? There's so much uncertainty surrounding that program, right? They only went 3-9 last season. Mike Gundy's future might be in jeopardy down there. It's going to be interesting to see, but I think Cincinnati takes that game. So I will improve them to 6-1 there. But I believe when you come back the following weekend for homecoming versus Baylor, I believe that is where Baylor will shock a lot of people. And I believe Baylor will beat Cincinnati to play spoiler on homecoming. That will put them at 6-3 on the season, heading into their road matchup, like you mentioned, arguably the most challenging matchup of the season, and that is going on the road to Rice Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Utes. And Russ, you and I know those Utah trips are never a fun opportunity for Cincinnati, right? With the mountain time, all that, the elevation and whatnot. I think Cincinnati falls to 6-4 there. That's where I believe they fall on the road to Utah right there as well. But I believe they respond well. So 6-3 essentially. My bad. And then I think they respond well, come back, get a win versus Arizona, put them at 7-3. Obviously, Arizona is another team that is mightily going to probably struggle this season, right? Tetiora McMillan, your 6'5" wide receiver, is not outside with Noah Fafita anymore. He is in the NFL, slated to be the Carolina Panthers' potential number one wide receiver. So overall, Arizona lost a lot of firepower. So I think Cincinnati handles that game with an offensive masterpiece, like you mentioned. So I believe that's 6-4 or 7-3, 7-3 heading into BYU. I believe BYU comes in and gets the job done versus Cincinnati. That'll put them at 7-5 or 7-4. I think they finished the season 7-5 per se, right? With BYU and TCU, it's not going to be an easy opportunity to go on the road and play at Amon G. Carter Stadium. And Russ, the reason I say that aspect to end the season is because when I got a tour of that facility with Mark Cohen and Ryan Roberts, that stadium is built like no other. Like, it is a coliseum, and it is just like Nippert Stadium. It is built like an old Greek, like, mythology building, and it is right on top of you. Your fans are right on top of you. So, per se, I don't think it's going to be an easy environment. I don't think it's going to be a blowout in favor of TCU, but I think Cincinnati will fall the final 2 games of the season, and they'll finish the season 7-5. That's where I'm going to have Cincinnati finish as well.
I love it.
But bowling is expected.
Yeah, we both got them going 7-5. You got them finishing a little bit fast. You got them starting a little bit faster, finishing a little slower than I do. I got them starting a little bit slower and finishing a little bit faster down the stretch of the season. I think Neil and I are in agreement. The talent is there for this team. The coaching continuity is there for this team. The special teams floor especially is there for this team this fall to do enough to flip 2 games, 2 results, and get that 5-7 mark to at least 7-5. I think those are very objective and strong projections from Neil and I on the 2025 UC season. That wraps up an extended Bearcat Blitz episode today. Thanks for everybody for sticking through all the topics with us. We'll be back at it on Monday, or Monday. We'll go Monday, Thursday, and do game week schedule mode for the foreseeable future as Cincinnati Bearcats football prepares for a Thursday night battle against Nebraska next week. For Neil Meyer, I'm Russ Heltman. This has been Bearcat Blitz on the Believe Network, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great weekend.
6, Ritter to the end zone, looking for Pierce. Did he hang on? Yes. Touchdown. Back as I've been around. Here he goes again. Busts free. Jerome Ford down the sideline. Foot race. House call. Touchdown. 79 yards. Big one in the Peach Bowl. This is a big one, too. And it's going to go all the way